guys, it's Cindy from Tuner Style. I'm doing a requested video which is to tell you guys all my favorite television shows. So I'll start off with vampire shows because there's quite a few of those that I like. The original being Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. Please excuse my voice because I'm sick and it's really, really bad. I'm sorry. This show was my absolute favorite when I was in high school. I watched every single episode as it aired on television, all 7 seasons. So I was pretty obsessed with it. I loved Buffy. I loved Spike. Spike was probably my favorite character in the whole series. Just really well done, really witty, and you'll hear that a lot in this review, that what appeals to me about shows is the writing. I love when shows writing is really witty, it's smart, it's very current, and I love when it's really real and authentic and not, I mean, obviously there's vampires, so that's not real, but I love when the characters have flaws and they're not perfect and they're relatable. For the show, Buffy and her friends, they're real people that you can relate to. And I love how the show is really about this strong female character and discovering, you know, her power, who she is. I must say, though, my favorite Buffy is definitely Kristy Swanson from the movie. I think she is the perfect Buffy. She's athletic, she's powerful, she's fun. And I love Luke Perry in this movie. If you haven't seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it was also created by Joss Whedon, just like the show. But this one went a little bit more in a spoof direction. The studio kind of took it in a different direction than he wanted to. I still think it's a great film and worth the watch, even though it's a little bit cheesy. This is more of the direction he wanted to go in, and he got to do that with the TV series, but they're both great. You can't talk about vampire shows without talking about Vampire Diaries. What a great television show. Excellent writing, really fast-paced. In every episode, something crazy happens that you would not expect. People, like main characters, die in the show constantly. People hook up that you would never thought would ever hook up. It always keeps you completely surprised and completely shocked. And at the end of every episode, I'm always sitting there like, I cannot believe that just happened. It is based on L.J. Smith books, she was my favorite writer in high school. So I was really drawn to the show just because of that. And even though Vampire Diaries was not my favorite of her series, I was more of a Secret Circle, Night World, Dark Visions girl. It really exceeded my expectations. It was excellent. It was much better than even the books, I thought. So I'm really hoping that Secret Circle, now that it has been picked up to be made into a TV show, is as good as Vampire Diaries, because this is one of my favorite things on TV. Finally, you can't talk about vampire shows without talking about True Blood. Definitely the best thing on HBO in my opinion. This is one of my favorite shows. I love that it follows the books in a way, but it also adds new characters, it adds new plot twists. So even though I've read all the books, I'm not bored when I watch it. I love Anna Paquin as Sookie. I think she does an amazing job, and I love Alexander Skarsgård as Eric. He's my favorite character. There's so many great characters, and it's sort of a small town show as well, which is very appealing to me, as you will see in my next little segment. So highly recommend True Blood. It's not for younger viewers because it is quite racy. There's a lot of nudity, and there's a lot of gore in this show, so it may not be for everyone, but if you like the genre, you will love this. One more HBO show to mention is Entourage. I don't watch it as religiously as some of my other TV shows, but I did do a huge marathon a few years ago and watched every single episode back to back. It made me fall in love with it even more. I love drama and I love Turtle. They're my favorites. It's coming back this summer and then that will be the last season, so gotta give it up for the boys in Entourage. It's a great show to watch with your brother or your boyfriend if you're a girl, because they'll really like it and it's something you can watch together, so I highly recommend this show. Again, there's drug use and nudity, so it's not for younger people, but for people my age, you'll love it. Small town shows, which I absolutely love. I'll start with the ultimate, and that is Gilmore Girls. Stars Hollow is such a character in the show in itself, but obviously the main stars are Lorelai and Rory, the mother-daughter team. Great writing in the show. So fast-paced, so witty. As someone who talks really fast, I really relate to it. Also, someone who has a really great relationship with her mom. It's great to see that on screen as well. And I always wanted to live in Stars Hollow. It just was such a great community and so many really interesting characters. I love Rory. I love her relationships, especially Jess. He was my favorite of her boys. And I have every season of this on DVD, and I've seen every episode at least 3 times. It's one of those that I cannot turn off if it's on TV. Another all-time favorite small town show is Northern Exposure, which is all about a small town in Alaska. This was a show that was on in the 90s. It has a great mythical or magical character to it. Just a lot about life. Definitely pick it up if you haven't seen it. I know obviously a lot of younger viewers would never have seen it. It's a really, really cool show. There's not a lot of young people in it, but the town and the characters are just so strong that it's definitely worth a watch. Another small town show I don't have the DVD for is Twin Peaks. So good. Real crazy, eerie, definitely weird show. I mean, if you've seen anything by David Lynch, you know how out there he can be. But it's a murder mystery about who killed Laura Palmer. It was a huge cultural thing back when it was originally aired. I mean, it was something that everyone wanted to know who did it. Everyone watched the show. Season 1 was like a huge cultural phenomenon. And I watched it as a kid because my sister was into it. She's much older than me. Later on, when I got older and I could actually understand what was going on in the show, I watched it on like one of the cable channels. Great, great show, especially season 1. Season 2 gets a little bit more weird, a little bit more out there. If you like kind of retro-looking shows, because even though it takes place in the modern day, it was in the 90s, the whole town has a really retro feel to it in the fashion and in the vibe of the show and the makeup. It's a really cool TV series to watch, so I would recommend Twin Peaks. Okay, and then the last small town show, which is one of the best things ever to be on TV, is Friday Night Lights. I can't say enough good things. I think anyone who watches the first season, just the first few episodes, you will be hooked and you will watch every episode. It's so much more than just a football show. Great, great, great characters. What I have to say about this show is the acting is phenomenal. The way the actors portray their characters will leave you with just your heart ripped out. Like, they just take you to such a real, raw place, and they're people that you want to spend time with. My favorite character of of the whole series was definitely Matt Saracen, Zach Gilford, right here. I also love Tim Riggins. Who wouldn't? I mean, he's really cute, and he's often shirtless in the show. But his character as Tim is also it's a complex character too. He's more than just the hot guy, and you'll see that as you continue to watch the show. So much more than just the average teen or family drama. They really take it deep with each character, and there's a lot of layers to every storyline. If you haven't seen this, you really need to pick it up. It's definitely a show you can watch with your whole family. Boys or girls will like it, and it's one of the best things ever on TV, for sure. Then I'll go into just teen shows quickly. Gossip Girl, I have to give props to season 1 because it's one of the best seasons of teen drama on TV. Excellent fashion, excellent view of New York City. I really love season 1. I cannot say the same about the next few seasons. Wasn't so into them, but season 1 is excellent. My favorite teen show at the moment is definitely Pretty Little Liars. It's a great mystery story, which kind of reminds me a bit of Twin Peaks in a way, without the whole eerie, mystical component. Because there's this space of who killed Allison, or who is A to the story, just like they had who killed Laura Palmer. I love the fashion on the show. I love the way that Spencer especially dresses. I love Hannah as well. She's my other favorite character. I love Toby and I love Caleb. I love the relationships that they have with the girls. Definitely the best show that's directed towards a teen audience that's on right now. It just finished the season, but it should be back this summer, so look for that. Also, True Blood starts in June. They just announced that yesterday, so I'm really, really excited for that too. Really like crime shows. One of my favorites is one that is currently canceled and was only on for 1 season, this season that just passed, and that was Terriers. It was on FX, and I think I was one of the only people that watched it. Such a good show about 2 private detectives in San Diego. It starred Michael Raymond James he was in True Blood, he played Renee. Such an amazing actor and such a gorgeous man. Him alone made me watch that show, but the writing was amazing. The storyline was multi-layered, threw you for constant loops, like stuff that happens that you wouldn't even expect, and all of a sudden, boom, would blow your mind. So it was such a really, really well-written show, really fast-paced show. And it's so sad that it got canceled. I'm really happy, though, the way that they ended the show. They gave you a conclusion to the big mystery that was building up throughout the whole season. They knew they weren't getting picked up, and they gave the loyal viewers the ending that they deserved by finishing the storyline off. And there was a small cliffhanger with Britt, who is Michael's character. But you kind of were happy not to know what happened to him because you could kind of make your own conclusions. And so I was really, really satisfied with the season as a whole. It was very complete, and I really hope that it ends up getting made on DVD because there's talks that there wasn't enough interest for it to even get put on DVD, which would be so heartbreaking because really one of the best shows I've ever seen. I have no idea why people didn't watch it. Like, it's probably better than 80% of the shows I'm mentioning right now. That's how good it was. Okay, as for other crime shows, Criminal Minds is probably my favorite. That's on right now. I love the first 3 seasons, especially because Mandy Patinkin was still on them. I feel like he was the heart of the show, and after he left, the show isn't awful, but it definitely suffered a little bit after he left. He's one of my favorite actors. He was in Dead Like Me, which is another great show about Grim Reapers. He was also in Hugo Montoya and Princess Bride, which is one of my favorite characters of all time in a movie. I also love Matthew Gray Gubler, who plays Spencer Reed. He's my other favorite character. Such a cutie and so great on the show. He really brings a lot to every episode. And I loved Elle. She was in season 1 and a bit of season 2. I love how they look at the crime story from more of a criminal's perspective and trying to break down why they're doing it versus what they've done. Like most crime shows, excellent television. And the ultimate crime show is obviously CSI. I love Vegas. It's my favorite. I've seen every episode in all, I think, 12 seasons it's on right now. You can't love CSI Vegas and not love Grissom. But since he's left the show, I think that Lawrence Fishburne has done a great job, not replacing him, but coming on and being part of the team. And I feel like all the veteran actors have really stepped up. I love Nick. Episode in season 4, the finale, which was shot by and written by Quentin Tarantino, where he's in the box, is my favorite CSI of all time. Such a good episode. You really need to watch that if you haven't seen any CSI. That episode, season finale of season 4, blow your mind. On the last 2 seasons, the one that just passed and the one that's currently on, they've really revived the show, and I'm really into it again. Much more of a Vegas fan than anything else. I don't really watch any of the other CSIs. Quickly, reality TV, I don't really watch it. I do like some of the manly shows like Deadliest Catch and Swamp People. I'm obsessed with both of those shows. Deadliest Catch is about crab fishermen in the Bering Sea, and Swamp People is about alligator hunters in Louisiana Bayou. That's my current obsession. I cannot say enough amazing things about that show. It just started in the States this week, season 2, and I've already watched it online. Amazing, amazing show. Definitely check it out. If you like Deadliest Catch, you will love Swamp People. And then finally, I'll talk about British television because it's by far the most innovative, the most risque. I cannot believe what is on their regular TV. It's like HBO 24/7 over in Britain. Not that that's what makes a good show, but I just feel like their shows are refreshing because they're so honest. And Skins is the one that always comes to mind. Season 1 and 2 are my favorites. The original cast is just so stellar. I love Sid. I love Michelle. I love Tony and Cassie and Chris. I love them all, really. They're such great characters. It's shows that I can watch over and over and over. Season 3 and 4, which is the second cast, I wasn't a huge fan of. I really like Cook, but that's about it. Season 5, which just finished with the third new cast, is absolutely fantastic, and it really brought me back to this cast and how great they were. They've really found a great bunch of actors. Other British shows I love Secret Diary of a Call Girl, about an escort living in London trying to balance her life as Belle, the escort, and Hannah, the real girl. If you like Sex and the City, you'll definitely like that show. It has that sort of vibe to it. It's a half-hour comedy drama. Billie Piper's fantastic in it. And lastly, Misfits, my ultimate favorite British TV show. Kind of a mix between superhero show like X-Men or Heroes and Skins. So you get these crazy teenagers that are all doing community service who develop these special powers when they're hit in this freak storm by lightning. And all the powers reflect things that they really want. So, for example, one girl really wants to know what people are saying about her. So she has the power that she can hear people's thoughts, etc., etc. But they end up realizing that what they really want sometimes isn't what they really want. And it gets them into a lot of trouble, and there's some bad people with special powers that end up coming after them. And yeah, there's a lot of hijinks and some absolutely insane dialogue. Like, stuff that comes out of Nathan's mouth will blow your mind. He's my favorite character. He's just so out there and so well played. He's adorable, and his character is hilarious and shocking and unbelievable. Love that show. Lastly, I'll just mention quickly my absolute favorite show of all time is an Australian teen drama called Heartbreak High. I was on, again, in the 90s it started. I wanted to live in Australia. It made me want to move there. It made me want to live in the warehouse with Jodie and Rivers and Steve. And I wanted to dress like them and act like them. It was just my absolute favorite television show that's ever been on. It wasn't the best acting or the best writing or the best whatever. It was just a show that I just fell in love with more than any other show I've ever seen in my life. Unfortunately, it's not on DVD. They say that because of all the music in the show, it's too expensive to get the rights to everything to put it on DVD. Hopefully, eventually they will anyway, but looks like I'll have to live with my crappy VHS recordings. If any of you have seen Heartbreak High, please comment below and tell me your favorite characters and your favorite episodes, because I love reliving that show. Yeah, that's everything. Hope you guys are inspired to watch some really great TV, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.